Hey there, once again folks, to my Let's Play of Ever17, episode 27 I'm very certain of. Last time, it was quite a intimate exchange between Takashi and Tsugumi. Learned some background behind Tsugumi. Why she might be the way she is. Or behaves the way she is. You did learn that she is quite a bit different, got some circumstances. So, a lot of her story is explained. I don't believe it's anywhere near being I don't think it's completely explained, her circumstances, but we know more about her. So, it was very interesting. Immortality stories are pretty interesting to me. What you can do with infinity amount of time. So very cool. So let's get right back into this. It's the last day, supposedly, from the calculations. Last episode, Tora didn't seem very concerned. Nobody really seemed very concerned. So that's I'd be a little concerned. Alright. After breakfast, we each had plenty of free time. But there was nothing in particular to do. Nothing that just had to be done. So without any reason, we all just ended up gathering in the rest area. As always, the vases were filled with blossoming flowers. Marguerites, marigolds, and roses. Apparently the flowers were watered periodically by mist from the sprinkler system, helping them maintain their freshness. Now, where are the alarm sounds going off right before the sprinklers come on this time, or is it just a normal sprinkler system? I didn't see Sora anywhere, but then again, she did say that she hadn't finished checking the sensor data. She probably had gone to the control room. It seemed that she could concentrate on performing operations better there. You, who had been talking with Sora earlier, was strolling alone around the top of the circular stage in the middle of the room. Excuse me. The kid, Coco, and Pee-Pee were chasing each other playfully through the water. I had a feeling I had seen this all before. After having a good stretch, I watched Coco and the others play. The three of them, two kids and an animal, circling the stone statue. They were playing a game of chase, not really caring who was it. Without seeming to get bored, they kept running around and around. This is very familiar. I seemed to be making more effort than they were, just watching them. Phew, what a sight. It looked like fun, but I quickly gave up any idea of joining in, as he did the last time. And at any rate, Tsugumi had yet to make an appearance this morning. Just in case, I had left the sandwich for her at the kiosk. I don't know if she'll actually eat it or not. She wolfed down the last one you made for her. What would I say to her if I met her? She had confided her secrets to me on the jellyfish gondola. Virus carrier. A body that never dies. A body that never grows old. Her healed scar. It was all so hard to believe. Could such a mind-boggling story even be true? I was still unable to completely believe her. I glanced up and noticed Coco and the others had stopped playing. Huh? What is she doing? With a worried look on his face, the kid was watching Coco intently. That's his normal look. That's not his worried look. That's his normal look. Pee-Pee too had his eyes on her. In the middle of the rest area stood 4 stone statues. Coco was deliberately attempting to scale one of the pedestals. With a heave, she began to climb up the side. It was an odd sight. I ran to the kid as he stood frozen watching her. Stumbling as she mounted the pedestal, Coco ended up embracing the statue.
Coco, 一体何やってるの?
Good question, kid. The kid asked her curtly.
ちょっと高くなるだけで見えるものは随分変わるんだね。正確には68センチってとこかな。
Perched on top of the pedestal, Coco said this, smiling triumphantly.
ねえココ、そのためだけにそこに登ったの？
違うよ。
Coco answered with her head cocked.
この辺がね、ちょぴっと寂しかったの。
寂しい？
Which area?
背中が寂しいかなと思ったの。
Coco stroked the statue's back sympathetically with her tiny hand. You have a fascinating mind, Coco.
ほいでね、ピカピカポカーン、マイナスドライバー。
Uttering a stream of nonsense, Coco suddenly produced a flathead screwdriver in her right hand.
かける2。
And then another one appeared in her left hand. Hey, where did she get those? Anime logic. But before I could ask her anything, Coco was gripping 2 screwdrivers, and then into the back of the statue. She began to carve the stone using the tip of the screwdriver.
よいしょ、よいしょ。
Cut, cut. Carve, carve. And within moments, the back of the statue was covered with gashes. Okay. It was incomprehensible. Just couldn't understand it. And Coco's flipping out everybody, and she's armed. First she says the back looks lonely, and then she starts gouging it. I would try to get a t-shirt that has something on the back like a character. I don't want her thinking my back looks lonely. That'd be a good idea for all of us. For a while, the kid and I just gazed at her with our jaws dropped.
何やってるの？
The kid yelled as he came back to his senses. Maybe this is something she does around her neighborhood or something. Who knows? She might be the vandal of her neighborhood.
掘ってるの。刻んでるの。この石像に傷を刻み込んでるの。
Oh, really? Etching some marks. I can tell that by watching you, Coco. That's not what I mean.
傷を？どうして？
The kid beat me to the question.
それは寂しかったから。それにね、悔しいの。
Okay, we need to make sure someone's always with Coco, keeping her entertained and happy. Otherwise, she starts stabbing things with screwdrivers.
悔しかったんだ、ココは。
She muttered in a tiny voice. She worked with great dexterity using a screwdriver in each hand. The tips of the drivers dug into the stone, screeching and forming tiny grooves.
悔しい？
今日まで誰も助けに来てくれないってことは、ココたち見捨てられちゃったってことでしょ。だからちょっといたずらしてやれってそう思って。
Kid and I looked at each other. Coco looked back at her handiwork. The gashes had begun to take on a shape. There's a human form like a stick person. Okay, that's what I thought. That's what I kind of figured she was doing. It's a tip formed by it's a tip formed around head.
何これ？
It'd be funny if they all just started trashing the place from her talking.
ココだよ。で、こっちがピピとチャミ。
Looking more carefully, I could see 2 unusual animal figures beside the human form.
それにね。
One of the shapes had a particularly large head. It was only half
これは
finished.
つぐみ、かっこよく描いてあげないとな。ムフフ、ムフフ、ふふりのふ。
Singing a cute little song, Coco continued to carve. She seemed entirely absorbed by what she was doing. Somehow I could relate to her desire to throw herself into something.
器物損壊かな、こういうの。
Hey, relax, kid. Now's not the time to be so uptight. It'd be horrible to people who own the company and really did sue them if they got rescued. That'd be awful. Of course, they should be the ones suing. Did they ever tell what corporation owned LeMU? Or is LeMU the corporation? I can't remember. Coco's into her work. You can't blame her. Right.
よーし、次は。
Because of her unsteady position on the pedestal, Coco suddenly lost her balance.
危ない。
Without hesitating, the kid jumped forward, steadying her body. He grabbed her by the hips to prevent her from slipping down and carefully lowered her to sit on the pedestal.
ありがとう。
足元気をつけてね。
あ、そうだ。しょうちゃんも一緒にやろうか。
え？
やろう。一緒にやろう。ここんとこにね、しょうちゃんと何キを書いて、でね、この辺に竹ペンを掘ろうと思ってるんだ。はい、ドライバー1個貸してあげる。
あ、うん。サンキュー。
Energized by Coco's enthusiasm, the kid took the screwdriver and mounted the pedestal to join her. Be careful not to fall yourself, kid.
大丈夫だよ。
Don't slip, Coco. Why don't you let me hold you up?
どうしようかな。
大丈夫だよ。
I was about to stretch my hands toward her, but kid stopped me.
僕が支えるから。
The kid took hold of Coco's empty hand. While embracing the statue in a hug, Coco and the kid steadied each other. And using their free hands, they both began carving shapes. The statue stood there in silence without complaint, pointing its finger to the south. A while later, what was left in stone was the carved images of 6 people and 2 animals. Who has the lopsided head there? Is this one supposed to be Tsugumi with her kind of broken arm, broken leg there? Alright. It was evidence of our existence here. That afternoon, after a light lunch, I looked around but couldn't find you anywhere.
食べ終わってすぐツバイトの警備室に行ったよ。
なんかね、マッキュー、調べ物があるんだって。
Research? I wonder what that could be.
さあね。気になるならユウに直接聞いた方がいいんじゃないかな。
Yeah. Oh, sheesh. My throat's wanting to clog up for some reason. Yeah, I guess you're right.
ソラさんはどこ行ったの？
制御室に入ったままみたいだね。忙しいのかな。さっき端末で声かけてみたんだけど、Oops,
I didn't let him finish. As usual, Tsugumi was nowhere to be seen, but the sandwich I left at the kiosk was gone. Come to think of it, neither you, Sora, nor Tsugumi had said a word to me all morning. Something's up. I can tell. At any rate, I figured I would go search for them. But I didn't know where I should go. Well, it's kind of in the Tsugumi branch. Let's go to the infirmary. That's kind of the one that she would probably be at. That'd probably be Sora and that would be you, right? Or they could mix it up and make it confusing here towards the end. Turning down the corridor after climbing the emergency stairs, I came out in front of the infirmary. Huh? The door abruptly opened in my face and a person came flying out. and then dodged right past me. In a flash, the figure was gone without even seeming to notice me. Who was that? I whipped around quickly, trying to see who the person was. It was Tsugumi. Hey! I started to call out, but hesitated. Excuse me, man. The events from the night before popped into my mind. I could stop her, but then what? In the meantime, all I could see was Tsugumi's back fading further away. Hey, wait up! Where are you going? Barely getting the words out, I dashed after her. I ran up a corridor and hurriedly climbed the stairs. But the sound of her feet faded down the end of the emergency corridor. Her figure had already rounded the corner out of sight. Tsugumi! Oh, okay. I thought that might have been what he meant, but Tsugumi, hey. I had run about 30 yards, but damn it, Tsugumi, you sure are fast. I grumbled after her, although she was now well out of earshot. It didn't feel like I could catch up with her at all. Her speed was unnatural. She was still supposed to be recuperating, but still. She's still a little slower than when she pulled me away from the flood at the aquarium. Her legs probably still hadn't fully recovered. At any rate, I didn't want her to overdo it. Ah, damn it. Annoyed that I was out of breath, I continued after Tsugumi. The sound of her feet was only barely perceptible in the distance. I strained my ears to hear. It sounded like she had headed downstairs. I descended the stairs. I was unable to hear any footsteps from below. It seemed that instead of going to the third floor, she had gone down to the corridor on the second floor. I came out near the entrance to the jellyfish gondola. I had thought she came this way. But Tsugumi was nowhere in sight. He's really making it hard for me not to swear very much in my videos. Damn. I guess I'll just have to give up. What's the point in playing chase with her anyway, I thought. But still, I was disappointed. Without further recourse, I gave up and walked to the nearby security office. And as usual, the room smelled faintly of smoke.
Kuranari.
Noticing me enter, you turned toward me from the console. Say you haven't been smoking, have you? I only said it in jest, but you looked slightly offended.
そんなわけないでしょうが。タバコは20歳になってからだよ。それをさっぴいたとしてもさ、よくもまあそんなことが言えるわね。ほれ、この私のピチピチフレッシュな持ち肌を見てごらんなさいな。これぞまさに乙女の柔肌ってやつよ。あんたみたいなスモーカーには土台無理な美しさよね。
You spoke smugly, mocking me. Hey, I don't smoke.
あ、そうなの。
Wow, she really seems to think that Takashi smokes.
ふーん。
Anyway, let's stop all this stupid talk about smoking that you brought up, Takashi. I just wanted to ask you something. The kid said you were doing some research.
え？少年、そんなこと言ってたの？
You gave me a slightly surprised look.
クラナリ、少年からはなんて聞いてる？
I don't remember exactly, but he just mentioned you were researching something, so I thought I'd ask you myself.
そっか。なら教えようかな。
Turning back to the console, you began to type.
クラナリはもう覚えてないかもしれないけど、私ずっといろいろ調べてたのよ。レミューのこと。
She spoke with her eyes glued to the
それ
monitor.
にお父さんのこと。
Or have I told you about him yet? It must have been the first day I came to this place. Was that her saying? I think that was her saying that. When you startled me by suddenly starting up the dolphin carousel. I had heard about them then. So, have you found something? You shook her head slowly. Eyeing the monitor, she hit some more keys and entered a code.
パスワードさえ発見できれば。
Password?
それさえあれば、レミのあらゆるデータベースにアクセスすることが可能になるの。通常、レミのシステム本体に関わるデータはプロテクトでブロックされてる。それに開発スタッフの個人的なデータもね。そのプロテクトを解くための鍵、レミのセキュリティロックを外せる緊急用の最終パスワード、それを探してるのよ。
Oh, so that's what you've been up to.
ええ。でももうお手上げかな。
You stopped typing. Taking your eyes off the console, she looked at me. Hey, by the way, if you disconnect LeMU's security protection, what will happen to Sora?
空？
Well, since Sora is an AI program inside the LeMU system, won't she be affected?
そうね。もしプロテクトが解ければ、空は当然裸になる。
Naked?
あ、クラナリ？今なんか変な想像したでしょ。
Me?
裸って言っても、空の映像がヌードに変わるわけじゃないよ。
I wasn't thinking about that at all.
本当かな。怪しいな。ま、いいけど。空の思考とか記憶、データとして見られる全ては丸裸になってしまうわけよね。
That's an invasion of privacy.
そういう問題じゃないと思うけどな。まあ、私は内緒事をベラベラ喋ったりはしないし、興味もないし。空の秘密を知ろうって気はさらさらないから安心しなさい。 OK?
So, that happened. Would that kind of be like hypnotizing somebody to like cluck like a chicken whenever the word bluebell is said? Kind of like how in the sitcoms or movies or whatever, they'll say, where suddenly somebody will say something and then they'll just like, pop, 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 pop. Completely unrelated. Probably shouldn't have said nothing there. Well, okay.
OK?
After that, I fell silent. I was searching for something to say. He was looking down. So, if you discover something about your father, then what? When I asked, you furrowed her brow slightly.
私もね、それを考えてるところ。どうするべきかなんてもう分かってる。分かりきってる。プロテクトを解けば全部分かる。とにかく今、私はここのコンソールからレミシステムの中枢にあるはずのデータにアクセスしてる。うまくいくかどうかは全然わからないけど、データがそこにあるらしいってことは分かってるの。どこにデータがあるかまではもう分かったのよ。まあ、分かったのはいいんだけど。
You suddenly became more upbeat.
このプロテクトがまたなかなか解けなくって頑固でね。だから果たしてそこに何があるのかというところまではまだまだたどり着けてないってわけ。結局なーにも分かってないのと一緒だよ。
You said this and then gave a big shrug. Yeah. But I still think it slows better than knowing nothing at all.
ま、そうだよね。
You gave me a smile. She then popped her neck and rotated her stiff shoulders.
さてと、もうちょっとだけ頑張ってみようかな。
Alright, you, good luck. There's still time.
OK。
Turning her back to me, you began to peck at the keyboard.
そ
With
れ
her
に
nose?
してもさ、
Without stopping her hands, she muttered
昔
quietly.
からお母さんに聞かされてたお父さんの癖。 わかるもんだね。こんななんでもないような無機質なコンピューターのプログラムにも結構売ってるんだ。人間の癖ってさ。
For a long time you stared at the monitor. She didn't look my way, so I couldn't read her expression anymore. But I could tell by her shaky voice she was probably crying. Without saying a word, I slipped out of the security office. It was time for dinner. I made enough sandwiches for everyone and passed them out. Everyone moved with them to the rest area. We gathered on the circular stage in the center of the room and began eating. At a wave of Sora's hand, a gentle rain started pouring from the ceiling sprinklers onto the flower beds. There was even a small rainbow. Smiling, Sora stared at the fresh flowers and the sparkling rainbow. I wondered how long I could watch the little peaceful world she had created. How long could I keep looking at her smiling face? Thinking about it made me feel lonely. Then again, there were others here too, one of them opening her mouth so wide it didn't seem it would open anymore. Now, she looked right happy. Who I figured he was talking about. And had flipped off the wrapping paper. She called out to me in a voice that seemed just a little too sweet. It seemed to me that she had been crying earlier, but it must have been my imagination. Alright, alright. Such a slave driver. Hey, nothing at all, milady. She has a rather evil laugh there. Reluctantly, I trudged back into the kitchen. I can't believe that girl. It wasn't like they were that hard to make. We had plenty of provisions. Still, I was irritated somehow as I waited for the cold oil to heat up again. I anxiously fidgeted as I waited. The wire basket struck the frying pan with a clang. I'll just get this done as soon as I can. A customer had showed up without warning. Jeez. Yeah, let's not piss Tsugumi off. She's actually not hating you right now, so let's not turn that back that way. Tsugumi looked annoyed. Eh? Tsugumi? Huh, no, it's just... Don't worry about it, it's okay. Alright, settle down. I had allowed myself to get worked up. Trying to shake off my frustration, I replied, "You just want one?" Tsugumi said this as she turned around. Coco peeked out from behind Tsugumi. Okay, gotcha.
ねえ、ところでたけし、さっきちょっと怒ってなかった？どこか具合でも良くないの？それとも
No, it's not like that. It just takes a while for the oil to get warmed up, so I was irritated, is all.
あ、そうなんだ。
She flashed me a smile.
わかった。大丈夫。慌てなくていいわ。私、ちゃんと待ってるから。
Tsugumi grabbed onto Coco's hand and started walking slowly away. She was smiling so gently. She had surprised me when she started talking to me all of a sudden. The Tsugumi right then seemed like she would never talk about dying, even by accident. I wondered if she had resolved her feelings. If that was the case, then it seemed like talking with her had been the right thing to do. I had chased after her constantly, been hit by her, been put down by her, but the Tsugumi before me was unmistakably one of us.
そんでね、ほいでね、ココ夢を見たんだ。
Oh, okay. Coco dreams seem like they'd be something very abstract. Tsugumi was listening to Coco intently.
どんな夢？クジラに乗ったの。
As I was saying, very unusual and abstract. Coco seemed to be truly enjoying herself.
ね、翔ちゃんとね、一緒にクジラに乗って、でね、クジラがボインボインと跳ねて、ホップステップジャンプとばかりに、宇宙の彼方イカスンデルにバッピューンと飛んでいって。
Thank you, Coco, for taking that relatively tame idea that I thought you were actually having and then going out there.
ほいでね、そしたらね、
Oh, I couldn't even begin.
クイクイ星人に会えたんだ。
Kui Kui! Oh my gosh! Kui Kui!
そっか。
What does that mean? Does that mean anything? Probably mean... I don't know what Kui Kui means.
ココはクイクイ星人に会ってきたんだ。翔ちゃんとココでね、二人でね、会ってきたの。そっかそっか。よかったね、ココ。
Tsugumi listened to Coco's nonsense with a smile on her face. I watched the interaction quietly. I tried to sense what they were feeling. And...
プラナリン、遅いって。もう。
I'm kind of trying to stretch this out because if things suddenly turn for the ending, I kind of want to have that in one episode, and I don't want that one to be too long. So, kind of trying to stretch this out. I honestly don't know how much further this is going. What the hell are you all worked up about?
別に怒ってなんかいないよ。ただ、
Seriously, he's
プラナリの
just
サンド
like
が遅いから、何やって
three
んの
swears
よ
in
と
one
思ってやきもきしてただけで。
He's turning me into a potty mouth.
はい、それで守備はいかがでしたか、料理長さん。
You really don't know when to shut up, do you? Look, it's right here, so stop worrying. When I showed you the package, she shrugged. Tsugumi and Coco had already finished theirs and were following behind me. I headed over to the circle in the center of the room. Here, it's the Tanaka special. Take it. I got up on the round dice and threw the package directly at you.
何よいきなり。うわー！
The package flew over Yu's knees and landed softly in the center of the stage. Hey, come on, wake up, will you? I pretended to show surprise. Be careful, those are some gourmet goods, you know.
何よ、そっちが突然投げたんじゃないのよ。
Yu's cheeks puffed up. She picked up the package and dusted it off. Sorry, I was just joking. I lifted both hands in mock apology. I was worried it would fall into the water there for a second.
あのね、バク。そんな意地悪しなくたっていいじゃないのよ。
Same to you. Grumbling to herself, she undid the string around the wrapping. You looked at the contents and puffed up again.
ちょっと、竜田が焦げてるんじゃないこれ。
Not that badly. You should still be able to eat it.
しょうがないな。
Everyone's a critic. Give me a break. We carried on needling each other like this for a while, when suddenly someone came up and stood in front of you and me. No, maybe he'd been there for a long time. The kid was staring at both of us with a leaden gaze. It's a very unusual look for him. He's neither looking like he's scared to death or... This is the only really other look I know from him.
あれどうしたの少年食べないの
The kid held an unopened fried chicken sandwich in his hand. You gotta eat to stay healthy, kid. It's probably cold by now. You want me to heat it up again for you? I put out my hand. But he pulled the sandwich close to himself and tried to get away. He looked at me with a hard expression, and... The kid crushed the sandwich in his hand, using all his strength. The wrapping paper burst and sauce flew every which way. It got on his clothes as well, but he didn't seem to notice. He didn't stop there. He took the mangled package and threw it with all his might against the water on the ground. What? What the hell are you doing? His shoulders trembling, the kid kept his face down. He was finally able to drag out some words.
嫌だ。嫌なんだよ。もうたくさんだ。
The kid kicked at the thin layer of water at his feet. Everyone looked at him at
僕
once.
はもう嫌だ。パスタサンドなんか食べたくないよ。飽きたんだよ。白いご飯が食べたいんだよ。
He screamed. Everyone's breath caught in their throats. But nobody had anything to say in reply.
もう嫌なんだ。うんざりだ。生きていてそれでどうなるって言うんだ。助かるって誰が保証してくれるんだ。こんなことしててずっとこんなことしててさ、無意味だよ。僕たちがここにいることなんて何も意味がないんだ。
The kid raised a shaking fist, but not finding any direction to launch it, he lowered it again. Yeah, nobody really has anything to say. Everyone tried to keep their eyes from meeting. It seemed like they were afraid of what we might see. They tried desperately to avert their gazes. Nobody moved. People pressed their lips firmly together and dared not speak. Stupid fool! What the hell are you talking about? Finally I looked up, shouting, Don't ask for the impossible! Do you have any idea what you're asking? The only food we have to eat is a sandwich in the snack shop upstairs. You know that. And you tell me you're sick of it? You still have to eat it. It's the only way to survive. So you'd better be thankful for it. We're all putting up with it the best we can. You're one of the gang, right? You should be a little more cooperative. They're all being patient. They're helping out. Even if they don't like it, they eat and they're surviving. If we don't, then we're finished. Wake up. We're all going to get through this together. As long as we're alive, there's still hope. And that's where I'm going to leave this. Yeah, this is a longer episode. The next one might be longer. I'm not really sure. I don't know when this dadgum thing is going to end. And I don't want to do like a... I figure once the ending starts, it's going to be... I don't know. But anyway, yeah, apologize for the long episode. Hopefully it's not annoying or nothing. I hope you enjoyed, and I shall return for the next episode of Ever17, The Out of Infinity. Farewell there, folks.